Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Family Scuba. I'm going to be talking about the dive that my dive buddy and I, Charlie, did back in April of this year at Mine La Motte. This map is posted in a changing room that's right by the entrance of the water. It's a very simple line map, but at least it does give you some sort of visual as far as where we were in the dive. This is where I dropped my tank. This is right before the long tunnel with the tracks. This is a good spot to drop a stage, just simply because it takes about 30 minutes to get to this point, and to swim that tunnel takes about another 20-25 minutes if you're swimming. And of course, we're calculating all of our bailout based off of having to swim out. So there's the entire tunnel that you have to swim through. It's just a straight shot. Like I said, it's about a 20-25 minute swim if you're swimming at about about 50 feet per minute. Fortunately, on this dive, we had DPVs. The previous dive that we did here, we swam the entire way, and it was not as fun, I would say, as this dive. This dive, we're both diving with Blacktip Tech DPVs with the 20 amp hour batteries. If you have a Blacktip Tech, I highly recommend getting these batteries. The range on them is quite a bit more than your typical drill batteries. So this is where we ended up going after getting out of the tunnel. You can pause and kind of look at that map a little more if you want. Essentially, we just followed the main line to the right. There are a whole bunch of T's. We just kept going right or going forward, and not really coming off that main line. And then eventually we just ended up reaching a big room with a rock where the line was tied off. It looks like that room probably goes somewhere else or continues on, but we didn't try exploring it. Maybe the next time we come out there we'll give it a go. The end of this line is probably somewhere in the 4,000 foot range of penetration, but I couldn't really tell you. I'd have to go back and look at that map and count out all the 100-foot spaces between the marked end of the line at the rock crusher and this line. But I'm guessing it's somewhere in the 4,000 foot range. The other end of the line, like I said, is at the rock crusher. That's what's marked on the map. That says that it's 4,700 feet. This is that rock that I mentioned. The line just goes to that rock, and then you're just in this big room. And our lights don't really do the room justice. It was bigger than our lights could light up, and the visibility is really good. So the room's quite large. We tried to see if there was any line anywhere else, a jump line possibly, just simply because of all the arrows that are on that boulder, on the line tied to that boulder. But I suspect that all those arrows are there because people want to mark that they've been there. And I don't know. I never look at them. I have no idea whose initials are on them. I've never looked to see whose initials are on them, so I think it's kind of a waste of time, but to each their own. So anyway, we backtrack out of that line and then follow the line to the right again once we get to that T. And that takes us back to the rock crusher. Well, there's a line at the rock crusher and a whole bunch of arrows and cookies as well, by the way. Again, of divers, I suspect that want to mark that they've been back there. Again, I've never looked at them to see who's actually done the swim or the penetration. But anyway, there's still line that continues from there, even though it's not on the map. And it probably goes back another 500 feet or so. I don't recall exactly, but essentially it ends up in this room. I believe there is a video of the person who laid that line on YouTube as well, but I forgot who posted it, or if I find it, I'll put it in the description. Otherwise, there aren't a whole lot of Mine La Motte videos out there. I'm sure you can find it. In any case, this has got to be another 500 feet or so back. So added to the 4,700 feet that is marked, we probably went back about a mile, about 5,200 feet or so. And then we start working our way back toward the exit after reaching that dead end. This is all video from Charlie's camera. That's me in the front. I had a camera with me, but it did not work that day for some reason. I don't remember why. So I ended up not getting any video. So thank you, Charlie, for this video. It turned out really well. I was able to get some good footage. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. So there's the end of the line that's marked on the map. Again, as you can see, there's a ton of arrows and cookies and stuff. People that have been back there, I suppose. Was trying to get Charlie's attention. I went around the other side of the rock crusher. I believe this thing's a rock crusher. And I noticed it had a huge cable coming out of the side of it with 3 prongs. I think I saw in the video that I mentioned that's also out there that someone said it was like a 3-phase connector. This thing is massive though. It's huge, so it had to be drawing some big amps. In any case, we take a look at that. Charlie looked at it, was probably wondering why I was so excited to show it to him, but he saw it nonetheless and got some video of it. And then we worked our way back out. So here we're headed out from the point of the rock crusher. This tunnel is super, super cool. It's not very big. It almost looks backfilled on the right side as we're exiting. But it's really cool just going through there, and on a DPV it's even cooler. So here I am picking up the cookies. You'll see me do this several times in the video as we're going out. If you're not aware, we put cookies down to mark the line that we used on the way in. And I'm taking them up just because I put them down, and that's kind of typically what Charlie and I do. He'll light the way since he's behind me and verify that I'm picking up the correct one, and then I grab it and we work our way out. As we're doing here, we're just following the line back, picking up our cookies as we go. One thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is a little bit of the history of Mine La Motte and the... Oh, hold on, this is really cool. This line is kind of just suspended about 20 feet up, 15 feet up maybe, and below us is a whole bunch more track, and you just end up going into the hole in the wall here. But next time we go, I think I'm gonna run a line down to the tracks and then follow the tracks with a line, of course, to see where it goes, because it's got to go even further from here in another direction. Just super cool. This, I suspect, was probably an access point. They would roll carts to the bottom of that hole. All of that logs and timber there was probably a crane of some kind, or a lift at some point, and then they were able to get the lead or the whatever they were mining here up, and then back this way. So here I am, just picked up another cookie, and we continue exiting our way out. So going back to what I was saying about the history of this place, along with pretty much this whole area in Missouri, it was settled in the 1700s by French explorers. They found that there was lead in the area. That sparked a rush of settlers to Missouri back in the early 1700s. They primarily mined lead there. The lead was even used during the Civil War to make bullets, which I believe was the main purpose for mining the lead in the first place. But even 150 years later, from when they started settling there, that lead was still being used and used in the Civil War. So where are we here in the mine? We just hit another T. Still working our way out. I would have to say the coolest thing for me probably about this mine is just its sheer size. We've been here, I don't know, 6, 8 times, done several hours for each dive, and it seems like there's always new areas to go explore that haven't had line laid. There's also quite a bit of equipment and tools and cables and stuff like that that were left behind. It's kind of a common thing in these mines. Mines in general that aren't being worked anymore. It was just not economical, or it wasn't worth taking all of this stuff out, so they just left it. So here we're back at the tunnel, the other end of it. I stopped for a second there and was shining my light to the right. Charlie kind of looked away, didn't catch me doing that, but there's more area that way as well, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we still need to go explore because it looks pretty cool. But back in this tunnel again, I think it took quite a while still to even DPV through there. We weren't going very fast in the DPVs. Mainly just to take the sights in and not go flying through it. I think it's kind of cool to go through the tunnels and look at the tracks and all the stuff that's in there. In any case, like I was saying, it wasn't beneficial, or it didn't make sense financially to remove a lot of the stuff that was in there. So they just left it. And then part of the reason that most of these mines closed down to begin with was because they just weren't making any money. It was costing more money to dig it out and to pay wages and buy more supplies and things of that sort than it was making a good return. So ultimately, when it becomes more expensive than profitable, they just shut it down. But fortunately, they're still here. They're still open, and a good place to go exploring. I find these types of dives probably a little bit more interesting than just a regular cave dive, just simply because of the history and the artifacts that are still left there. It's kind of like going on a wreck dive. People used to live and work on those wrecks, and people used to come here and make a living going through these tunnels and digging them out and mining the lead. It's pretty cool. So here I am picking up my stage again, struggling a little bit. Probably practice doing this more often. But in any case, I get it clipped on. little bit off the line so I don't disturb our visibility coming out, and off we go. Another thing to mention, like I said, we've been back there several times. We always swam it, and I was very excited to finally go back there with a DPV and not have to swim it. And I have to say it makes a huge difference, especially when you're carrying more tanks. So this spot right here is not far from the tunnel entrance. That area I marked off there is where this cart thing is. I have no idea exactly what it is. Got 4 wheels. Not much of a platform or anything like that. So I want to say, if I had a guess, that was used probably to carry logs or timber in here. But I'm not 100% sure. There's lines that go back behind it as well. And this is what I always refer to as the gate. I think this is just a rack of some kind. But I always tell people that the swim back to the gate is about 20-25 minutes or so if you're going about 50 feet per minute. So if I ever told you the gate, that's the gate right there. And that's right by where that cart is. So this is our dive profile. In total, we did about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Did have a little bit of deco, but that was all swam out. We didn't have to stop to decompress or anything like that. Max depth about 88 feet, 2 hours and 22 minutes. Minimum temp was 46, max was 54, but I didn't notice any change. It was all 50 degrees as far as I could tell. Anyway, that's a dive. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one.